I'm here with Antonio Perez, the president of Talgo, and we've just completed our conference here in Orlando, and I would like to hear how you thought of it, and did you enjoy it, and what you feel for the future of rail in America and the future of Talgo and his involvement.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, the conference was, we're now kind of toasting on the success of the conference. We found it very positive and very good. We learned not only what we learned on during the different sessions, but also what all the meetings that we could have with the different persons that attended the conference. They were very useful, especially at this time when there is so many exciting things happening in Florida. You know, there is so many potential for companies in Florida, and that the project now is really going towards getting agreements with different companies to get consortiums being formed. So this is now the networking part was also very important.
Oh, great. So Talgo has a big interest in Florida and America, and tell us about what you're already doing in America and how you can do more as this scales up, because we're just at the infancy of this rail project.
Yes, definitely. Talgo bet on this U.S. market 14 years ago. At that time, the Talgo was not really well known in the industry. It was a name of a company that was in the Spanish company that didn't have a brand name. Now, I think that most people know what Talgo is. At least they have heard of Talgo, and we have interest in all on the United States for high-speed rail. Our corridors our products fit all the high-speed rail ranges that go from 125 miles per hour to 220 miles per hour. And now that we were basically in the Pacific Northwest for 10 years, and then after these 10 years, the new administration have really put money into rail, and now there are many more opportunities in the U.S.
And how happy were you when Obama came out and announced billions of dollars for high-speed rail and a whole new focus on rail in America?
Yeah, that was a great moment. That was is what everybody was waiting for many years. I've been in many conferences and many events where many people had plans, had visions, had something that only were really waiting for the money to be available. And then at that moment, it's like the money was made available for different states, and so that was a great moment, definitely.
And do you feel this is just a few shots of money, or do you feel this is the start of a whole new industry?
Well, I think it's going to be very important that the money is wisely spent, and is spent in some corridors that can demonstrate that they are successful. Because like in other countries, once the one project is proven to be a success, then what will happen is that any other corridor in many other states will want those kind of replicate this success. So it's very, very important. And I think that the Obama administration has selected some key corridors that, including Florida, is going to be successful.
And you already have facilities in America. You've been manufacturing trains here for how long?
Yes, well, Talgo, the first trains, Talgo first leased 2 trains for 2 years, and then we sold 3 trains, 2 to Amtrak directly and 2 to Washington State. Then from that time, we also signed a maintenance contract afterwards, and that was in 1996 when we signed the contract, and then 1998 is when we delivered the trains, and in 1999 we started the operation of the trains, and then we've been with those running in that corridor for 10 years, maintaining those trains, and with an availability rate of 99%.
Wow. And do you feel that if this does scale up and become a whole new industry for America, that Talgo can scale up and build different kinds of trains for different speeds? If we see that some of the new train systems that will be built will be 200-mile-an-hour trains and maybe faster, and others will be 100-mile-an-hour trains in that range. And so you have different you'll be able to manufacture trains for both of those markets? And
yes, yeah. We have basically three line of products now. That one is the Talgo, what we call the Series 8, which is an existing generation of Talgo high-speed trains designed for 125 miles per hour. That even though they are designed at that speed, they can run at lower speeds in tracks with not perfect conditions that you might expect in the high end of the product, the product range. So we have then the Talgo 150 miles per hour. We call it Talgo 250 for that because it's 250 kilometers per hour, and then the Talgo that run at 220 miles per hour plus. So we can scale and we can offer a menu to the customers that can choose and pick what best fit in their needs.
so that's what, 3 different models that could fit 3 different markets, so to speak.
Yes, and the big difference is basically on the locomotives and the power unit. The platform, the cars, the body shells, they are based on the same platform. So in order to save development costs, we have the same body shell that can be changed or adapted to different train configuration, different locomotives, power units. That could be, depending on the speeds and the requirement for the different states, that could be basically adjusted.
And is the difference between the 125 mile an hour and 220 mile an hour, they're from diesel versus electric?
Yes, basically when you go above 150 miles per hour, you need to go in with electrical power. Yes.
And you said you already have factories in America now?
We just recently announced that we're going to open a factory in Milwaukee, in the state of Wisconsin. The reason for that is because Wisconsin has been the first state placing an order for the new train sets. And some other states have piggybacked on that order, like Oregon. We expect that some other states we can take advantage of lower price per unit, and they can piggyback. But if not, then we can always build a new facility. Obviously, the unit price per train is going to be more expensive, according to cover the non-recurring costs. But this is something that can be done.
And if we really did scale up, and this is our goal as an association, to really ramp up to a whole national system, 17,000 miles of high speed, true high speed. If we really get going on this and the country adopts it and really gets going, then you could really scale up. And what kind of facilities would you need, or would you do a number of factories around the country, and what kind of numbers of jobs would that create?
Yes, that definitely the number of well, ideally in an ideal world, one large facility with lots of with long orders. This is what all the manufacturers want.
So you want to have one concentrated location?
That's the ideal situation, and this is what all the manufacturers want, because then the non-recurring costs, the fixed costs, can be allocated across many number of units. That's an ideal world, but sometimes that not. We understand that might not be achievable, because states that place order for very large quantities, they'll want
they want jobs created
in their state. Yeah. Although that's it's very important to know that it's not only the final assembly of the cars where the jobs are created. The jobs are created also on those companies that provide the components and the different systems to the train. The train is just the final assembly, just take a number of hours, but there is lots of value in the components of the train.
So tell us about, I know you also, in addition to manufacturing trains, you do maintenance, is that correct?
That's correct. That's a critical part of our business. We not only design and manufacture train sets, high-speed train sets, but also we maintain the train sets for the life span of the equipment. What that means when I refer to maintenance is that we provide not only the daily inspections that are required by the current regulations, but also we provide intensive preventive maintenance. What that allows is that what basically that means that before the train or parts in the trains break, based on histories in database that we have, we repair and replace parts on the trains before they break. What that allows is a higher reliability of the equipment and also a much higher availability of the equipment.
Right.
Basically, just to put you an example, which is we are living that year after year, we have 5 train sets in the Pacific Northwest corridor with no spares. There is no spare train, but those 5 trains are running on daily basis. And so that the availability of the equipment is 99.9%. And what that means for the owner of the equipment is that they don't need to spend so much money in capital investment up front.
Having spares.
Yes, having spares,
right.
Because now you have you don't need to spend that if you pay for the maintenance. And then an additional benefit to that is that you have you ensure that the parts and that the train is maintained in the best possible way. And then we are penalized if we don't comply with what we agreed in the contract. So this is the maintenance and the good state of the equipment is guaranteed by contract.
All right. All right, well, thank you very much. And shall we toast?
Absolutely.
To a successful conference, and hopefully Talgo, lots of success in America, and hopefully we'll ramp up the high-speed rail in America.
Success in
Love
Florida
to have you
in
as part
first
of
place.
success. Exactly.
Thank you.